The psalmist wrote in Psalm 116, verse 1, I love the Lord because He has heard my appeal for mercy. My name is Rocky Henriques. I'm the pastor at Utica Baptist Church in Utica, Mississippi, and I've got a word of encouragement for you today. I want to tell you about something that happened in Boston, Massachusetts in January of 1919. Yes, that was before I was born. It was an unusually warm day for January in Boston, and a lot of the Bostonians came outside to enjoy their lunches. They spread their lunches in the shadow of the Purity Distilling Corporation's massive molasses tank, steel structure about 50 feet high, 90 feet in diameter. On that day, it was nearly filled to the top with 2.3 million gallons of molasses. Suddenly there was a sound like machine gun fire. The rivets holding the tank together began to pop out. And with a roar, the weakened seams split open and the tons of molasses spewed out. The first wave of molasses was about 30 feet high, destroying everything in its path. Several people died instantly. The suddenness with which the tank burst caused pieces of metal to fly through the air like shrapnel. One piece sliced through a pillar of the Boston Elevated Railway, causing the railway to collapse. After the flood of molasses subsided, that molasses clogged the street up to 3 feet deep in some places. Some survivors had to have their clothing cut off. Trapped horses had to be destroyed. The death toll reached 21, with more than 50 injured. It may not be molasses, but sometimes in our life our problems can overwhelm us just like that, with no warning, during times when we think everything is going just fine, everything's all right. Our lives can suddenly be turned around. Now, since none of us knows when tragedies might occur, we should all be prepared spiritually. One thing we do know is that bad things happen to everybody, that none of us is exempt. And since we know that to be true, it just makes sense that we should be ready for those times of trouble. You know, if one of my children is in trouble, he or she knows that they can call their dad. We're close. Even though they're grown, they're out on their own, they have their own lives. But the closeness of our relationship means that they can call me when they need me. Now, we don't remain close so they can call when they get in trouble. We're close because we love each other. And that's the same way it is in our relationship with the Lord. We know He loves us. Even if we doubt Him sometimes when times are rough, we should love Him. And as a result, we have assurance that we can call out to Him and know that He hears us. So, whatever the situation we find ourselves in, or however deep the molasses flows, if we have nurtured and cared for our relationship with the Lord, we can know that He hears us. John wrote in his first letter in the New Testament, if we know that He hears whatever we ask, we know that we have what we ask Him for. You know, staying close to the Lord and maintaining a proper relationship with Him helps us to know that when the bottom falls out or the tank collapses, we have the resources necessary to carry us through. Now, I want to leave you with a word of caution, though. God is not just some grandfather sitting up there, holding grandchildren on His knee and blind to whatever they do. If we're not careful, we can think that everything is good between us and the Lord without realizing that the exact opposite may be true. It isn't so much what we think about it. What really matters is what God's opinion is. Now, today may be the best time for us all to do a little soul searching, to discover the real condition of our relationship with God, so that when trouble comes, we are ready. James Houston wrote this: "We are to be so deeply rooted in the love of Christ that we can stand up to any emotional earthquake, storm, or any form of discouragement. Knowing God as our Father also means to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge. God bless you today. Be encouraged.